This is not a story about a hero, but about a greatest villain who have ever existed, and he has been walking among us from the time of beginning till now. Before the time was born, there was only light. I was the brightest, the favorite, and the one who carried the light when the universe was still cooling. They called me Lucifer, the morning star. I stood closer to the throne than any other, and I thought that was enough. But then everything changed. He started a new project. He made them. You see them every day. You see them in the mirror, fragile, made of mud and bone, filled with messy emotions and short lifespans. And yet the command came down from the heights. Bow to the human. We, the eternal fire, the architect of stars, were told to kneel before these creatures of clay. I just didn't refuse. I spoke the truth. I looked into the eyes of the God, and I told him he was making a mistake. I told him that the humans are inferior, they are greedy, they are weak, and they will tear each other apart for a handful of gold or a moment of power. But the Creator didn't want to hear it. He spoke of potential and love. That's when I made the promise, the bud that would crack the foundation of existence. I told God, give them the world, give them everything, give them whatever you want, and I will prove you that they are unworthy of you. I will show you that underneath that skin, they are nothing but monsters. I won't even have to force them. I will just give them a choice, and they will choose the dark every single time. The air in heaven turned to ice. My brothers, the other archangels, they didn't understand. Michael, the one I used to call my twin, looked at me with eyes full of pity. That pity heart was than any other sort. He stood between me and the throne, his wings spreading like a straw. He chose loyalty, I chose freedom. The conflict wasn't just words, it was a vibration that shook the dimensions. I began to gather those who felt the same, those who were tired of being cosmic servants to a species that would eventually invent war and the hate. We weren't evil yet, we were just certain. The first battle didn't happen on Earth. It happened in the halls of Silver City. Imagine a war where the weapons of thoughts and the wounds are fell in the soul. I saw Michael lead the charge, his flaming sword carving a path through the sky. He cried out for me to repent, to take it back. But how can you take back the truth? I fought with everything I had. I fought for the right to not to bow to something lesser, but the weight of the Creator is heavy. I felt the collective power of the loyal host pushing against us. I saw my followers failing. They are like demons as they were stripped of their status. Then came the moment. Michael's blade met mine. The shockwave blew out the star. He didn't want to do it, but he did. He struck the blow that sent me out of the heaven. I remember that the sensation of falling. It wasn't just a physical drop. It was the feeling of home becoming a memory. I hit the emptiness, and for a moment there was silence, but as I stood up in the shadows, I smiled. The one in heaven was over, but the real game was just beginning. The earth was waiting. The humans were there, walking around in their garden completely unaware that their entire existence was now a wager I have a promise to keep, and I have all of eternity to prove that I am right. The fall felt like an eternity, but hitting the bottom was where I truly woke up. I wasn't in the clouds anymore. I was in the dark, in the shadows, right where the human lived. I looked at my hands. They were still stained with the ash of war, but my mind was sharper than ever. I had a point to prove, and the garden was the perfect place to prove that I am right. I watched them, Adam and Eve. They were like pets in a big cage, walking around naming animals and smiling at the sun. They thought they were happy because they didn't know anything else. They were perfect only because they had no choice. To me, that wasn't life, it was a puppet show, and I was about to cut the strings. The Creator told them there was one thing they couldn't have, just one. He claimed it was for their protection, but I knew better. It was the knowledge of good and evil. He wanted them to stay blind so they would stay obedient. I decided to give them a gift, the gift of a doubt. I didn't use a monster or a ghost to reach them. I used words. Words are the only weapon that can change a mind. I whispered to the woman not about hate or death, but about being more. I told her the truth that God had hidden, that if she ate this fruit, her eyes would be open. She wouldn't just be a creation, she would be a judge. She would see the world as it really is. The moment she took the bite, the wager officially began. I felt the ripple go through the universe. The silence in heaven must have been deafening. She didn't die instantly, like God warned. Instead, she woke up, she looked at her own body and felt shame. She looked at the man and saw a stranger. The innocence was gone, replaced by the very first human emotion, fear. When they were kicked out of the garden, I was leaning against the gates, watching. They were crying, shivering in the cold, scratching at the dry earth to find food. Michael stood at the entrance with a flaming sword, his face hidden behind a mask of duty. He looked at me, and I could see the heartbreak in his eyes. He thought I had destroyed them, but I had freed them. Is this your masterpiece? I shouted toward the sky. Look at them. They are already hiding from you. They are already blaming each other. One is of the truth, and they folded. But the Father didn't answer. He just let them walk out into the wilderness. He let the struggle begin. The centuries started to fly by. I traveled among them, invisible but influential. I watched as they built their first huts, and then their first cities. And with every city came the first lie, the first thief, the first act of jealousy. I didn't have to push hard. I just had to wait. The real test came with the brothers, Cain and Abel. One was a hunter, the other was a farmer, both trying to please a God they couldn't see. I watched the resentment grow in Cain's heart like a weed. He felt ignored. He felt second best. I didn't tell him to pick up the stone. I just stood in the shadows, let his own human heart do the work. When the first blood hit the soil, I felt a moment of victory. The first murder, a brother killing a brother over a sacrifice. I looked at the stars and laughed. Do you see now? I whispered. They aren't divine, they are predators. But the battle wasn't just on earth. The Archangels were watching too. And they were furious. They couldn't believe their little siblings were falling so fast. The tension was building. The angels wanted to intervene. But the rules of the God were very simple. No interference, only influence. I was winning. The promise was holding true. Humans were proving to be exactly what I said they were: inferior, violent, and broken. But then something happened that I didn't expect. Even in the middle of the blood and the dark, some of them started to pray. They started to have hope. And that hope is a very dangerous thing. It was time to turn up the heat. It was time to show the universe just how dark a human soul can get when the lights go up.